Coronavirus infections on campus have been a common occurrence since school started back in August, but a high-ranking university official is now on the active list. Coming up, we'll let you know who tested positive for COVID-19.
The 2020 edition of Pride Week is underway with over a dozen events and activities for students. We'll have a look at a few in-person options along with the details on how you can get involved virtually next.
And Texas Tech Athletics is gearing up for another busy weekend, both here in Lubbock and beyond. We'll let you know when and where you can cheer the Red Raiders on to victory.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Patricia Perry.
And I'm Madison Hartin.
Texas Tech made headlines yesterday after the university announced that a high-ranking administrator has tested positive for COVID-19. Late Wednesday afternoon, the Texas Tech University system sent out a press release stating that University Chancellor Dr. Ted Mitchell tested positive for the coronavirus. Chancellor Mitchell received the results after being tested earlier in the day. According to the release, Mitchell was experiencing mild symptoms and is currently isolated and working from home. In the announcement, Mitchell reinforced the need for everyone to continue to take safety precautions to fight COVID-19, saying, quote, "I cannot stress how important it is that we take this virus seriously. Please remember to wear a face covering, remain socially distant, and stay diligent with your hand hygiene." Mitchell also states that he will continue to provide updates on his condition as he battles the infection.
Chancellor Mitchell is not the only member of the Texas Tech community to have tested positive for COVID-19 on Wednesday, but luckily he joins just a few more than a dozen other students, faculty, and staff. According to the university's COVID-19 dashboard, 11 students and 4 employees have tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. There were also 59 new recoveries announced on Wednesday afternoon. Yesterday's report brought the total number of new active cases for the week to 45, which is more than 50% drop from the number of just a few infections reported at the same time last week. This increase in recoveries, along with the shrinking number of new cases, also brought the total number of active infections down to 152, which is the least amount of active cases since the end of August. For a full list of all the numbers from Wednesday's report, visit emergency.ttu.edu/coronavirus.
In other news, several groups across campus have come together this week to celebrate a group of students during an annual set of events. The Office of LGBTQIA officially kicked off the 2020 edition of Pride Week in the Sub-North Plaza. From noon until 1:30 p.m., students could stop by and grab a free t-shirt featuring this year's logo and theme, Bound by Power, United in Pride. Monday's event was just the start of a week-long calendar of events to help strengthen Tech's LGBTQIA community.
Throughout this entire week, we have social events, educational events throughout the entire week, all the way up through Friday night. More information's on our website about each day's activities, but there are countless ways to engage. Even in COVID-19, we feel like we've got a pretty awesome Pride Week ahead of us.
Pride Week festivities continued yesterday afternoon with one of the most colorful events of the year. The annual Thai Diversity event took place from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Sub-North Plaza. The yearly activity allows students to put their creativity into action as they use different color dyes to create their own unique t-shirt design. The final product gives students a special keepsake to wear to bring awareness to Tech's LGBTQIA community. Even though the Thai Diversity event was held in person, it was only one of a couple of this year's events that were not affected by COVID-19.
By moving a lot of our things like our poetry slam, like our drag pageant, like our signature event online, we've been able to further reach out to everyone and make sure that we still get to celebrate in a relatively safe way, even with all the challenges that we face due to COVID.
Thai Diversity was the last of this year's Pride Week events to be held on campus. The remainder of this year's schedule is being held virtually, including the Friday's annual Pride Week drag pageant. For a full list of this week's events, along with information on how you can access the virtual activities, just visit lgbtqia.ttu.edu and look for Pride Week 2020 under the Signature Programs tab.
On-campus events and activities have been a rarity this semester, and this year's Pride Week has been no exception. But a few campus groups have kept safety in mind while giving students some fun and free options in the age of COVID-19. Last week, the Residence Halls Association hosted Say Hey RHA with several in-person events. The last of RHA's on-campus options was titled Thursday Theater. Held in Urbanowski Park, Thursday Theater featured a showing of Ralph Breaks the Internet Under the Stars on a huge blow-up screen. RHA picked last week's movie based on the irony of how most events have been held in 2020.
We thought for this year it's very fitting that we did a virtual theme. So our theme this year is Breaks the Internet for our Say Hey RHA Week, which is an annual event that we host each year.
Say Hey RHA Week wrapped up on Friday with virtual game night. The annual Say Hey RHA Week is held each year during the fall semester.
Fall officially started just over 2 weeks ago, but so far it's felt a lot more like summer here on the South Plains. So are there any hints of changes in the weather as we head into the second week of October? Madison has a look at the latest forecast. Madison?
Thanks, Patricia. Well, I'm sorry to tell you all, there is going to be a change in weather over the next couple days, but it is not going to be a change towards more fall-like conditions. If anything, we are going to be experiencing a bit of a tropical heat wave coming in the next couple of days. Looking outside right now at our MCTV tower cam, we can see that the skies are mostly clear. Most of that haze that has come through the Lubbock area due to the California wildfires has left the area, and it's a little bit less hazy than it has been the past couple days, which is good for visibility and good for my car. I know that has made it very dirty the last few days. For today, our high temperature climbed all the way up to 89 degrees with sunny and warm conditions and a wind coming from the south by southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Going into tonight, we are going to be seeing another drop in temperatures with a low of 56 degrees, clear and mild conditions, and a southerly wind coming at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Now, looking at the South Plains as a whole, we are actually going to start seeing an increase in temperatures as we move into later this week. For this evening, we can see that Lubbock locally is going to be in the 50s, with slightly cooler temperatures off there to the west of us out by Morton and Muleshoe sitting in the 40s, but for the most part, it's going to be relatively even and cool as we move into this evening. Going into tomorrow, however, that's when we're really going to be seeing this tropical heat wave starting to come through. For Lubbock, it is going to climb back up into the 90s and be sitting at 94 degrees, so it is going to be hot on the South Plains. And as we move into tomorrow evening, we are going to be seeing another drop in temperatures back down to the 50s, but we can see out there by Morton, we are not going to be experiencing any cooler temperatures. They're going to be sitting in the 50s too. Now, looking for that heat wave here locally in Lubbock, Texas, for Friday, we're going to be seeing a high of 92 degrees, a low of 55, and a south by southeasterly wind coming at 10 to 15 miles per hour. For Saturday, 97 degrees, so we will almost reach back up to into the hundreds again, with a high of 97 degrees, low of 54, and a west by northwesterly wind coming at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then we are especially going to have a sunny Sunday, and it is also going to be a little bit breezy, with a high of 95, a low of 57, and the wind coming from the west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. So if you're planning on going out on Sunday, maybe don't wear a dress. You don't want to be pulling a Marilyn Monroe. That's all for MCTV Weather. Back to you, Patricia.
Thanks, Madison. Even though fall weather may not be in the forecast, fall sports are in full swing, and 3 Tech teams are in action this weekend, all hoping to improve their records as they continue into one of the toughest months of competition. The Red Raider volleyball team starts things off tonight as they head to the Metroplex to take on TCU. Tech is sitting at 2-2 in conference with hopes of a 2-night sweep against the Horned Frogs. First serve is set for 5 p.m. tonight and tomorrow, with all the action available through Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Tomorrow night, the women's soccer team is also hoping to put a W in the win column as they welcome the West Virginia Mountaineers to town. The Red Raiders are still looking for their first win after 2 ties and a loss in their first 3 conference games. Friday's game is set for 7:15 p.m. at the John Walker Soccer Complex, and TV coverage will also be available on ESPN+. And on Saturday, the Texas Tech football team is also hoping for their first win in conference as they head north to take on number 24 ranked Iowa State in Ames. Tech is trying to find a way to win after giving up leads in the fourth quarter in their last 2 games, while Iowa State is hoping to continue a win streak that included a victory over top 25 ranked Oklahoma last Saturday. Kickoff for Saturday's matchup is scheduled for 2:30, and you can watch it on ABC.
Each year, Texas Tech honors students, faculty, and staff through departmental, college, and university-wide awards. But there is also one department here on campus that gives special recognition to those who may not be Red Raiders but are an important part of the Texas Tech community. The TTU Office of Parent Relations is currently accepting nominations for their annual Parent or Grandparent of the Year awards. The award is given out each year to several sets of parents and grandparents who are nominated by students to make a nomination. Students write an essay to explain why their parent, grandparent, or guardians are deserving of the award. Essays are limited to 2 double-spaced pages. They must be written in Times New Roman 12-point font. If you would like to nominate someone for this year's award, you have until next Monday at 5 p.m. Submissions can be made by visiting the website on your screen. Winners are usually announced at the end of family weekend football game, but this year the winners will be announced through social media with the possibility of an in-person recognition at a later event.
So Madison, are you planning on nominating your parents for this year's award?
Definitely. William and Jill Hartin are saints, and they are definitely deserving of an award.
I'm really going to have to look into nominating my family as well. That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.